Hey, it's Sean Shapiro, here we go. Knows the road rules better than most folks know. Ask your questions, bring the heat or keep it chill. He's got the answers and a license to spill. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you wanna hear. Former badge, now a podcast star. Navigating traffic laws near and far. Stop sign confusions or a signal light feud. Sean's the one to give you the right attitude. Yeah! Ask your traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you wanna hear. From this man. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie.
Hey, it looks like it's working, which is really good because I got a couple of errors saying that it was, reconnecting, and that's entirely possible. So I warn you right off the bat that we might have some communications issues that are unforeseen and uncontrollable, and whatever happens, don't leave. We'll be right back. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, and I do it 2 days a week live. But I talk about it constantly, even though it annoys many people. My goal is to help you on your journey to traffic knowledge, safety knowledge, avoiding those pesky tickets that you could have avoided if you just didn't break the bloody law. Yeah, not everything's exciting. Not everything makes sense. And sometimes if you just knew something or had someone to ask, you would have avoided a problem. Like a friend of mine recently who called to say that they were driving with a suspended license and didn't even know it. We can get into that story in a little bit, but there are ways to know it, and someone has to tell you. And otherwise, you're kind of flying blind. No fun. Quick shout out to Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. They're sponsors of the show. We thank them very much for their participation in making roads safer through education. It's something that I know they feel very strongly about. They're Canada's largest personal injury law firm. So Diamond and Diamond Lawyers, they're pretty awesome. If I do say so myself. I'm excited to share with you that I have a special guest tonight. My motor squad partner, the guy that I rode all over the city with, pretending to be Poncherello, and the guys from Chips. Yeah, that's what we want it to be. At least that's what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I got to do it, and I got to do it with this guy who I'll bring onto the screen and hope that everything works when I press the button. Good. What's going on, John? John, meet everybody. Everybody meet John. Very excited to have you here. I've been bugging you for a long time and saying, come on, you got to do it. You got to talk to everybody because you know stuff and things.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's very exciting for me anyway, because it's good. Like, outside of being able to grab a bite to eat and catch up on old times and good times, it is great to share the knowledge with everybody here. Melody says hello and sends a wave, and Honda Mig says, "Hey Sean, great to see you. Do police know if you?" Oh, we'll come back to that. We got a question about whether or not police can see if you're insured, and that's an interesting question that I'm sure we can talk about. No real secret here. There's some information that we have, and there's some information that we don't have, and then the rest is fun. I don't know if you're frozen. No, you were frozen a little bit. I just put a video up, and I think it's at 70,000 plus views just on TikTok, and it's about that very topic because I received a message from a viewer who said, they were driving without insurance and they got rear-ended when they were at a stop sign. What happens? And they were a little concerned. So, yeah, what happens when you're not insured? Well, you get a ticket, because I basically broke it down that you're going to get investigated, and it's going to be less fun than you may have thought it would be. Yeah, the whole $5,000 to $25,000 fine. I don't think it's a fun, advertisement. The 6 months in jail potentially, although I don't know of many people. Have you seen many people go to jail for no insurance in your time in court?
No, but in that section in the CAIA, or Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act, there were some regulations that didn't quite make it in, and that was going back a little while ago. So I don't know if they ever made it in, and therefore, if they didn't, some of the penalties don't apply. But I have seen the $5,000 apply.
I've seen. I know that it's the first appearance or the first conviction where the 5,000 can kick in. But absolutely, I know that. Although I've never seen someone on a case that I've brought to court go to jail, I've heard of people doing time in jail. It's usually the most egregious and multiple offenders, not the first time. So when people say, "Oh my God, I'm going to jail," probably not. Probably not. But you never know. You make them unhappy. The bench can do wild and wonderful things.
Don't test. Don't test.
Yes. I got Liz, who says good evening. They came in from YouTube. And then we've got Mary Lynn coming from X being formerly known as Twitter. They said hello, Sean, and waved. And, hello, Mary Lynn. We've got folks who are coming in. Oh, Timmer says hi, guys. If you're watching on whatever platform you're on, please follow, like, subscribe, share. If you're on the TikTok, please tap the screen so your fingers go numb. It really does help bring more people to the party. And the more people you bring to the party, the more questions get asked, the more interesting they get, because it's things you never even knew you wanted to know about until someone says, "Hey."
That's right.
The what do we got here? Oh, we got James Pereira. I probably didn't pronounce that. Pereira? No, Pereira. I don't know. How do you pronounce your name? We've got James, who wants to know. He says, "Hey, Sean, if an officer issued a ticket for not having a front plate in Ontario, but the vehicle has Quebec plates, what can you do to fight it?" That is fun, because, well, you don't have to have a front plate if you're registered in Quebec and you have Quebec plates. Oh, we lost John, and then we brought John back. Let's see what's going on. We're having technical difficulties. Nothing but fun here. Let's see if we can bring him back in.
I feel like I'm back.
Boom, boom, boom. You should be back. Let's see what's going on here.
I see myself. I hear myself.
There you are. You are in fact back.
Okay.
So the question before you disappeared was talking about a ticket issued in Ontario for not displaying both license plates as required by Ontario law, but they're registered in Quebec. I think that's a great example, because so often that happens, and people think, well, we can show discretion, but there's those exemptions.
Well, it's the jurisdiction that's going to apply, and if the two plates if the two plates doesn't apply in that jurisdiction,
the ticket can't stand. There's an exemption in the HTA that says that it doesn't apply to people outside of the province. Obviously, if you're not issued two plates, you can't materialize one when you enter the province of Ontario. You're not expected to. And for the longest time, we thought that it was one of those things where discretion would be applied, but it actually says it in the act, specifically saying you're not eligible for that ticket. And it's funny how they make laws and write all that stuff down. I think it's pretty cool. They actually make notes and stuff.
We used to see quite a difficulty.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we used to see quite a difficulty with truck drivers. So in some jurisdictions, they would have to display the plates of the areas that they're working in. So it might mean multiple different plates on the vehicle. And it may be front, it may be rear, it may be both ends of the tractor that has to display a plate. But then other jurisdictions said you could only display one plate, such as Ontario. So it got into some some back and forth when it came to truck drivers going in multiple jurisdictions. So I think some clarification came down a few years ago about that.
And you are the guy who knows stuff and things about commercial motor vehicles. And when people ask me questions, I say I don't know, and I have to talk to you because you are a commercial motor vehicle inspector amongst other things. So I totally lean to you for all that truck stuff.
Okay.
What do we got here? So hopefully, James, that covers you. You've got a defense now because you have a legitimate defense. And if you go to a first appearance with a prosecutor, you should tell them to withdraw it. It's funny. I always acknowledge it, but whenever I've been going live on Kick now, because now we're on 9 platforms when we go live, someone comes up and says, "Hey, I got a proposal for you. I can sell you some subscribers." And I'm like, "Nah, we're good, thanks." What is Og Foisey says? Why are tinted license plate covers illegal, even if you can perfectly see the plate numbers? And then he says, sorry to type it again, but I was fined for a tinted plate cover, but you can easily see the plate. Oh, this is one of those funny tickets that you know, science and stuff say that tinted reduces the ability to see stuff, and then it's not as perfectly as you think.
I think the best example of this is throwing on the end of that is in all conditions. So when you, for example, have a dirty plate, and when the dirty plate gets a plate on its own gets covered in dirt, you can still see the plate digits. When it comes to lighting, those plate covers, and some of them are meant to do this more than others, is they reflect the light so that you can't read the plate. And for example, red light cameras, when they did their flash, and up until a little while ago, the speed cameras would do that. The flash would reflect. Yeah, perfect example. It also can.
It's a
ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. But there's so many perfect examples of that. Like driving every day, there's no perfect visibility except a clear plate, like a clearly not obstructed by anything. Because as soon as you bring any type of layer, there might be polarization included, because some plates intentionally have, or some covers intentionally have polarized lenses to obscure or prevent a camera from reading it. Then you've got glare, and if it's not actually optically correct, and there's so many different things that could come into play. But the law says you can't obstruct it. It doesn't say you can't obstruct it by a certain percentage, or you cannot put anything over it. So clear or tinted, both are illegal.
That's right.
And then you've got sun bleaching. Like there's so many different things. But at the end of the day, it's a valid ticket. And automated speed enforcement was a big reason to make sure you didn't have it. Now somebody made a really big problem. They made a bad decision. They chose to put an end to automated speed enforcement. And oddly enough, I think we're going to see, if I was putting a prediction in, I would say we're going to see an increase in horrible traffic collisions and fatalities in school zones. That's just me taking a guess, based on the fact that the science or the studies say there's been that 50% of the people who go through those zones slow down because of the presence of those cameras. Take away the cameras and the consequence, I don't think they're slowing down anymore. Just guessing.
Yeah, I think you got it exactly right. That the at least in those areas you can help to control speeds and people's behavior. At least in those zones where it tends to be the most at risk. There are other areas that are, of course, at risk, but those are particularly sensitive areas.
I think that it's okay to speed as long as it's not a school zone. So a lot of people who were against speed cameras in general said, but if you leave them in the school zones, it's okay. I get that because it's kids and all. But if you go like on a main street, even though it's a high probability of collision, and there's lots of people who are potentially going to be affected by the crashes that we know happen here, high risk. We don't want speed enforcement there. Only if we can clearly see that children are present, like or having timers on them. So we only give tickets for speeding, which is always illegal, but we're only going to ticket it during certain hours. Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty funny.
There's a lot that every driver can do by timing themselves, so to speak. When you are a lower speed, you get to see more. you get to see it more slowly so you can react to it. But then you can also pace yourself, improve your mileage, use less gas, use less braking to get through the particular place you want to get through, to get pretty much on time, but a whole lot less wear and tear on the car and you.
I saved an amazing video, and I didn't know that I was going to need it today, but I do need it today. I'm going to try and upload this to the system so we can play it. But it's a guy I think it's a Brit by the name of Rory, if I'm not mistaken, and he talks about a study, a Jerusalem study. Oh, here it is. I found the video. Let me just send it over to the computer, and we'll play it for everybody. So I think it's fascinating. He basically says that at slow speeds, it's a tremendous increase. You see a time gap or a reduction in time to travel based on low speed, but at high speed it's negligible. We talk about it in different ways, but it's very, very interesting to see it in this particular thing. Let me see if I can not break any. Very slow. I got a new computer just so we don't go slow when this computer's going slow. I don't understand. I pressed the button. There we go. Okay, we're gonna press this button. Just it's taking its time. It's okay. We got time. Nothing but time. We got here. Upload a video. Just be a second. And okay, it's worth the wait. Otherwise, I wouldn't put you through this. There we go. Uploading. Doom, doom, doom. This technology is fantastic. Again, maybe I should have rebooted before the show. You know, we did this test a couple hours before the show. And it was like, it's perfect. And then it was less than perfect. That's okay. It takes a couple of seconds. In the meantime, James says thank you. It was totally confused as to why he got a ticket for that one license plate while registered in Quebec. So that's cool. Glad we were able to help you out. And Chris Wright says, why do you say that? Stop being negative. I don't know what he's talking about. I actually don't know. Okay, we'll come back to this in a second. Boy, everything's going really slow. It's okay. We'll come back to that in a second once it's finished processing. What do we got here? Keith Bazin says, ask your guest about different classifications of highways. Hey, John.
Yeah.
Let's talk about different classifications of highways for weights. I don't know what he's talking about.
It's diving back in time a bit for me. So we have a Class A highway. I guess a good example would be 401. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it may have changed since I left the truck enforcement side of things. We are experiencing dirt roads in Ontario. We're experiencing half-load roads during certain times of the year. There's a lot of different, definitions, but pretty much a Class A highway is what you would drive on the most likely if you're at anything but rural.
It's like a 401?
Yeah.
You don't mean controlled access, you mean just road highway. Like,
Yeah,
people get really confused, and I apparently just did it a moment ago. When we start talking about highways for everywhere and highways that are controlled access. And
yeah. I didn't say controlled, I don't think.
No, you didn't. I was making an assumption. I was wrong to do it. I caught myself as I was speaking saying, oopsie, dude. And most people don't realize that a highway is any road in Ontario.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm just going to go here because I think we're finished processing. Possibly, maybe. We are. Okay. Really?
This is something I always show because it's an example of magic that how you present something affects how people behave. On the inside, you're familiar with that.
I know what I did.
It's called a speedometer, and it shows speed.
Okay, I'll come back to this in a second. But I know why we're going slow. And I think it's because I told it to record 4K video locally on my drive. I think that's what happened. And I don't think I can turn it off during this live stream. So we're stuck with it for this one, and I'll know better for next time. This is the video that I was talking about, where he talks about minutes per 10 kilometers, per 10 miles. And he has a really great discussion. I'm going to let it play for a second, and we'll come back to all this other stuff, but I just want to get it out of the way.
This is something I always show because it's an example of magic, that how you present something affects how people behave. On the inside, you're familiar with that. It's called a speedometer, and it shows speed in the way we always show speed, in miles per hour. Completely arbitrary, by the way, the fact that we do this. In the US, in the UK, we do miles per gallon for fuel economy. In continental Europe, they do it the other way around. It's liters per 100 kilometers. But we do it that way around. Two behavioral economists, one called Pierre Ayal, I think, at the University, I think, of Jerusalem, came up with a thing which is the other way around. It's called a paceometer, and the blue digits show you minutes per 10 miles. In other words, rather than effectively distance per time, meters per second, miles per hour, kilometers per hour, etc., it shows it the other way around. How long does it take you to go a given distance at that same speed? Now, the reason I show everybody this is because I think it might save somebody's life if I show enough people. Because what you'll notice, for every additional 10 miles an hour you go on the interstate, the time you save gets less and less to a point where it's completely irrelevant. You may have noticed this if you've got a GPS, that you're wellying down some interstate at about 65 miles an hour, you see that you're going to be 3 minutes late, so you accelerate to 75, and after about 5 minutes, your ETA has dropped either by nothing or by 1 minute. And that's because the faster you're going already, the less time you'll save by going faster still. Nassim Taleb and I were talking about this. You may know the Black Swan author. He said it's fascinating because it's mathematically trivial, but it's completely counterintuitive. And so it's really, really important to know this, because we all, when we're running late, may feel tempted to go faster. If you're going really, really slowly, going an extra 10 miles an hour makes a huge difference. If you're already going quite fast, don't bother. Risk of accident, risk of fatality, braking distance, all those things, by the way, energy consumption, they're going up exponentially. The amount of time you're saving is actually flatlining. So what I'm saying is, this is a brilliant thing. It's only when you've seen the information presented the other way around do you realize something which is otherwise completely non-obvious, which is if you're already going quite fast, just leave it at 70 miles an hour or whatever. Don't try and go faster, because it's a...
But 70 miles an hour, I think that's hilarious. That, that's where, you're already doing 70 miles an hour. We're not responding here, although I'm pressing buttons. It says, oops, reconnecting. I don't know if this means you can see me or not see me. There we go. Yep. There's some weird stuff in the mix, and I think I identified why. By the way, anyone watching, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. Joining me on screen, my old Motor Squad partner, John. You know stuff and things that even I don't know. It's pretty awesome, and I'm glad to have you on today, even though my technology is not cool. But it's awesome, because I've been asking you for a long, long time. You're like, no, I don't want to do it. And you said, oh, yeah, let's do it. So now you're a podcaster.
Oh, God.
Except your connection's cooperating as much as mine is. I don't know. We're having some difficulty. Yeah, you got choppy. I don't know. Is anyone else streaming in your house right now? Any gaming?
No, it's highly possible.
It could be cutting into your connection. That's entirely possible. There you go. It's amazing, we have this high-speed internet, but only if nobody else on your street is using it when you want to use it. It's not just your house; it's like everybody in the neighborhood chops into the same line. If you're watching and you want answers to your questions, we will attempt to answer them, and we're here for another. Well, the live stream goes until 10 o'clock. Started at 9, goes till 10, and then we're back. I'm back again Tuesday at 10 a.m. to do this. I'm doing it 2 days a week right now. I used to do it 5 days a week. It's hard to believe that I did that as frequently as I did. But now this is competing with other responsibilities, so I do it as much as I can. We have Linny Mariak says, thank you both for the amazing job you have done. Well, thank you for the thank you. It's much appreciated. It's always nice to hear nice things. I got to switch over here. I see there's a chat update in the Instagram. Oh no, where's it coming from? It's coming from Brandon. And I see here. Oh. Called me homie, so I know they don't know me. Okay, Liz says, this would never be me, as I know that my driver's license expires May 2026. How long can a person have an expired driver's license before they would need to retake the road test? This is great stuff. Oddly enough, It's I think it's 10 years. I think 3 or 4 years is only an eye test, and I think 10 years is a full go through your eyes. He's doing some. He's like fish out of water, shaking. I think it's 10 years before you have to start at 0. There is a number where it flips. Yeah, I can't see. Where's the other finger? 1 year.
Yeah.
For
If you're
retaking the entire
expired,
test.
if you're expired for a year, you can go back to G1 again.
Really?
Yeah.
Because there was a chap who had gone out of town to England, to Ireland, and I had looked into it, so maybe it's changed. But there was a scale as to what he had to do before you could redo it. I don't remember what it is entirely.
If he
1 year they could bounce you.
if he managed to have an equal license in another jurisdiction, then return back to Ontario, he may have been granted that reciprocal status. But if you're in Ontario, you can go back to G1 as of 1 year.
Okay, I graduated. I'm just want to double check. That's amazing. Not that it's. I want to know what I was referring to, because there was a whole set of things. Let's hear. So expired less than 3 years. This is according to the MTO, I think. Let's see but this is what I was talking about. So it says expired 3 years or more. You have to redo your. You must redo testing. Hold on a second. Less than 3 years, you can renew it without losing your class. No testing required, according to this. 3 years or more, you must redo testing, but you don't need to go through all the way to G1. You can, for a full G, you must pass the vision test, a written knowledge test, and a G2 test. And then once you pass, you can go straight back to being a G. And then if you go 10 years or more, treated like a new driver, you lose all time. But that's what I was going for last time. But now I maybe it's changed when the other direction.
Yeah, that's a possibility that it's gone back to. But check your source. You'll want to make sure. The best way to avoid it is to not let it happen.
Now that's the right answer.
If you're going to be changing jurisdictions, such as you're going to Ireland, I think that was the previous destination. If you're going to another province, yeah. So you'll want to make sure that if you're going somewhere, tell the MTO, they'll take your license as a return to other jurisdiction. And then at that point, they're going to be ready when the paperwork comes from that other jurisdiction to them, asking about your license status, potentially.
It's funny you mentioned, we talked about that, because I had this video to play.
Help me!
This chap posted the video, and a number of people tagged me on it. And he was apparently confused about how this intersection works. There's stop signs in certain directions, but not others. And I'll play it one last time. It's not a complicated intersection. Flashing lights for this direction, red, so they have to come to a stop and wait till it's clear. The other side, yield, or be aware or caution. They have a flashing orange, but this confused the driver so much so that they put a video up.
It's an interesting video, and it brings up a point. When you're interacting with other vehicles that are different sizes, and your line of sight is gone, like just simply accepting that driver has made a correct judgment by going forward or is lawfully going forward, doesn't mean you should. You got to make sure that you have your driving under control and you know what's going on.
Well, yeah, because you're responsible for everything your vehicle does, and you are the master of your domain. To borrow from Seinfeld in a very different way than what was originally used for. Anyway, going back to Brandon, I mentioned earlier that Brandon had said hello. Hello, Sean and all from cold Ontario. Hope you had an amazing day. I have had a busy day, but it's not a bad day, just busy. I'm preparing for, I'm speaking at the Ontario Traffic Conference. The heck am I calling OTC? It's the this is terribly embarrassing. I'm the commission. think it's the Ontario Traffic Council. That's what it's called. All these words, yes. And talking about school zone safety. So I'm excited to be doing that, but I was doing all sorts of prep work for tomorrow. And Brandon follows up with saying, yesterday was a special day spent cooking for serving members as well as veterans. It was such an honor. Yeah, Remembrance Day. We cut the show off promptly at 11 to not interfere with any November 11th memorial stuff, Remembrance Day stuff. But poppies came off, right? 11:11. I got yelled at once many years ago. It's bad form to leave the poppy on after the 11th hour on the 11th month. Didn't know until I knew, and now you know too. Oh, we have advice about speeding. Get up early instead of speeding. Get to work. Thanks for that video. I couldn't agree more. Planning is the best way to deal with it. Cedric, like there should be no reason to ever try and catch up, because it's a fool's errand. You're not going to catch up. But it is what it is. People keep doing it. I don't know how to illustrate it any better. What do we got here? Question from Liz. Accessible permits used to be laminated. My second last one was paper, but it came with a protective sleeve. My latest permit arrived 3 years ago with no sleeve. Am I supposed to stop using the sleeve? No issue with the sleeve that I'm aware of, but you can't laminate it because that would be invalidating it, apparently. So if it comes laminated, it's cool. If you laminate it, it is not cool.
It just has to be openable, viewable on both front and back, because a lot of that information is going to be on the back. And I think you can fold them in half, but when you open them up, there's things on both sides.
Yeah, it's about not messing with it, and it has to be inspectable. There's a new word I just made up, inspectable. Upon demand, because parking enforcement officers can demand it, police officers can demand it, and if it can't be inspected to verify its authenticity, it's no good. And you can lose. It can be taken from you. It can be seized. And people with legitimate rights to them, where they lose them all the time because of minor things. And you think it's minor, but to the person doing its use, it's not the minor. Mine has a child in a wheelchair. They stopped, offloaded said child in wheelchair with spouse, who then left, and they parked using the wheelchair pass. You cannot do that. You have to be the person who has the pass issued in their name has to be present when they park, and that didn't happen. So that was it. They lost their pass, and that's a real shame. Okay, I have a video. Which video is this? School lessons about going back to the school. I'm going to play this tomorrow at the OTC, the Ontario Traffic Council School Safety Symposium. Check this out. Kindergarten in Japan. They're very cute, all these little uniforms.
And it's not a real child.
Yes, it should be made very clear that they don't line up children and then torture them individually by hitting them with cars. No, this is a scenario, assuming it is legitimate, not Sora generated, where they take a classroom and show them an example of what happens when you have blocked visibility by a delivery truck and you're trying to cross the street, and how quickly things can escalate. Don't do that, I imagine, is the outcome or the lesson being taught here. I think it's brilliant, and we'd never ever do that in Canada because it would be offensive to somebody. I think that's the reason. Don't be offensive. Don't be offensive. Can't hurt feelings. Everybody's made out of rice paper. What's a better example besides a rice paper? I don't know. Very, very breakable. Everyone's very, 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 very. The top boss sent an emoji from YouTube of a hand waving, a pink hand waving. It had to be described emoji for some reason. It didn't get translated into the actual physical. Well, I wonder if I put it on screen, will it be the emoji? No, it says hand pink waving. We'll take it. Bubble wrap, thank you. Lindy, thank you. I appreciate it. That's it. Yes, everyone needs bubble wrap to be safe. It's magic. Okay, we've got that. We've covered this one. Cool. I've got some other videos, but if there's any questions, and reminding folks that they can ask anything they like is good. Whatever you want.
I think that school video and school example brings something to my mind. I know is that all of the people who are watching around when somebody does get hit, they're usually quite traumatized. It's very distressing to see what happens to the human body after being impacted by a car. So there's a large impact to somebody making a mistake, and maybe it was a preventable mistake. And the rest of the people, unfortunately, are doomed to see that. It can be very distressing.
Yeah, no one's built to watch that kind of trauma, and it's not fun. And unfortunately, John and I both had the task of going and investigating fatal collisions. It's not fun. And you see all the people who, not just the person who was injured and possibly killed, but the people who survive live without that person, that gaping hole in their lives. So all this, the sad thing is there's no accidents. There are crashes, there are collisions, and it's all avoidable. It's all preventable by making better choices. The top boss 6960 says, I'm just going for my G1, and the video is a lot of help. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. I don't know if it's this video or the video that I started, the projects. I was reading the G1 or the driver's handbook, and unfortunately I was totally stalled on this, and I've been meaning to get back to it, but I've been so incredibly busy with 2 other companies that I'm working with that I have not been able to go back to that project. So my goal is to, by the end of the year, at least finish the driver's handbook and finish reading it on YouTube to everyone who hates reading it, because it's not exactly a fun book, but I have personally found it so useful because I get to brush up on stuff that I would otherwise never read. Like most people look at the HTA and would never read it. The driver's handbook is equally fun to read. Most people stop at the 20 questions.
Funny enough, it is a great book to read if you have any questions. It's full of all kinds of information. It's great.
And actually, I've got to put up a survey, and that survey will have an opportunity to win some stuff and copies of the driver's handbook in print that I would love to give away to somebody who needs it. So I guess I'll create a couple of surveys that you can sort of fill out some stuff, because I'd love to know more about my audience. And if you fill out a survey, you get the chance to win that. So maybe I'll do 2 different versions, so you can say, this is what I want. I want the book. I don't want the other thing. I want the book. Anyway, we'll figure out how that works. We have we got Liz who says, any last minute suggestions on how to stop fight Ford Nation's war on dash cameras? Do you mean speed cameras or dash cameras? Because I love dash cameras. I think everyone needs to have a dash camera. And the truth is that no better evidence can be provided of what actually happened in a collision than a dash camera. But I have a feeling I think you mean automated speed enforcement, because that's where Ford Nation has been going to war. And I don't understand the motivation. I don't understand why there is such a hate on for something that clearly works at slowing people down in school zones and other high-risk areas. So I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to have to undo the undo. I think at some point, someone's going to get seriously injured or killed and sued against the government for being responsible for that death indirectly by taking away the effective means of slowing people down. I think the government's going to be responsible in a big way. I think the lawsuits are going to be insane. I think that's a good question. I should talk to my friends at Diamond because they would know better as to whether or not you can even sue the government in this way. I think you can sue anybody for anything, but whether or not you'd actually be able to get paid, I wonder. And who wants to take on that case is another question, because I'm sure it would be an expensive game to play. But yeah, yes, Liz did mean speed cameras. Let's see here. We've got Melody who says, people might smarten up a bit if we show them reality. Seeing the fatalities firsthand sticks with a person, no doubt. And you're right. We can decode everything here in Canada and in many parts of the world. Well, actually, no, not really. I think it's just Canada. Everywhere else seems to show people reality. But I'll tell you, the best example is watch the news in the UK. Well, UK is a really bad example of the reality right now. They're going through things where they've been found to have been playing funny games, misrepresenting all sorts of American politics because they don't like Trump. But that's shocking. So we'll discount the UK because apparently they are fake news, and instead talk about Australia, who apparently is real news. Russia, even real news. If you want to see stuff about our country, go watch their news because they report our stuff more honestly than our own people do. And I got lots of people in the media that I love and they're great, but generally speaking, you will see it differently, presented differently, and they don't care about offending anybody. And I appreciate that.
In the past, Australia has been one of the leading public service announcement people. They show some, unfortunately, very graphic videos. They're not real, but they're very graphic nonetheless. And it does, it hit home. It hits home.
Well, and it's funny because my friends at the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, TIRF, they have done studies that say that young people do not respond to being shocked like this with reality, and instead like to be, gently persuaded. But I don't know if that's accurate. They may not like being shown bad stuff or horrific stuff or stuff that may influence change, but I think it's effective. And I'm not a scientist who knows anything about how people respond to that. I'm already messed up from what I've seen.
I think in our experiences, one thing that does come through when you're investigating a collision is people tell you what it sounded like. The sound of hitting something or somebody can be a horrible memory of the situation.
Yes, no, it's not good stuff. It's not good for anybody. Let's see here. I got some other videos. This one, not graphic, not deadly, but definitely illegal. Let's have a look. No audio. Their audio is just music, but they have a license plate cover. It goes back to the conversation earlier with why tinted lenses bad. And there's one that in normal conditions in bright daylight, you don't really see an issue with it. It's still illegal, even when it's not turned on. But the fact that you can hit a button and go invisible, oh geez, what could go wrong? So what would you charge someone for? Would you just be obscure, or do you think we can go with an additional charge of some kind? Is there something bigger, badder? If not, we need one. What do you think?
So we just have the one right now.
Just
I guess technically you could do two. It would be obstruct license plate or entire number plate not plainly visible.
If it was activated. The problem is that it's only when people are doing really dumb stuff that they would likely use that. Maybe going through the tolls, and there's actually another charge for tolls. If they could prove that was turned on during the toll entrance, there's a specific charge for that, and it's more serious. It's definitely more hefty than the $110 for obscure plate. Mind you, it wouldn't qualify for modified. Wonder what that is. Because I still seem to be lost online. So yeah. Anyway,
it's called evade toll device. I think
that's the one.
Charge. It was invented at the infancy of the 407. Back in my days when I was working for MTO, we would lay that charge if we found that there was an evasion of the toll device going on.
Well, I know that when I was a court officer, one of my colleagues got a ticket for having his tailgate down, and he would drive with his tailgate down to prevent drag, or so says the story. And he got a ticket for 170 or something.
For evading the toll device. Yeah.
Obstruct plate preventing identification by toll is more expensive for some reason. Oh, well.
Oh, okay. It brings to mind, though, the other issue with vehicle stops. If you're the reason that you're getting stopped, speed, plate obstructions, et cetera. It goes back to to vehicle stops in general. If you're getting stopped for a very preventable reason. Okay.
We unfortunately didn't hear anything you said. Or at least I didn't. Maybe everybody else is hearing. But I am not.
For vehicle stops, they're risky.
Now I hear you.
If you're getting stopped, you're putting yourself and the officer at risk. Why do that? Just follow
sure.
the rules.
That's way too easy.
Apparently.
Why? Like, it makes way too much sense.
It's going to start me on my my rant about the courts then.
Oh, the courts is a whole other story. Oh, Melody says we can hear. So maybe it's me who can't see. So, Melody, since you are the only one who is sane out of the three of no, can you, so there's no delays. The delays that I'm seeing are just me. That's weird. That's cool. I'm glad that everybody else is seeing you without interruption, and it's only me that's having the laggy stuff going on. Carl Freeman says, "Good evening." Good evening, Carl. What do we got here? I have one last video. There was a video that that's
me. I got hit by a car, and this bozo, look at this, draws a little cartoon to me like it's my fault. Meanwhile, he was on the phone, yakking away, not even looking at the road, distracted long enough to turn me into a hood ornament. Oh, and by the way, I'm a reindeer.
I don't even know what's going on. I got a big red thing here. Oh, that's what this one is. But I'm definitely having some technical difficulties here. Are you? Can you all see me? Okay, I'm frozen on this one. It looks like I'm blurry and frozen on low grade quality happening here on the thing. Anyway, I should be looking here. I'm now looking at the feed on. So strange. Anyway, this is a buddy of mine sent me this picture when insurance companies ask for a diagram of the accident, and then I put it through Sora.
That's me. I got hit by a car, and this bozo, look at this, draws a little cartoon to me like it's my fault. Meanwhile, he was on the phone, yakking away, not even looking at the road, distracted long enough to turn me into a hood ornament. Oh, and by the way, I'm a reindeer.
I thought that was hilarious. That was Sora just doing its own thing. I'm really curious as to okay, picture's better. Anyway, lots of fun. I love it when technology goes awry because unfortunately things don't work very well. I wonder if I can turn off this beta software that I think is causing the issue. No. Press the button. No. It's not getting better. Oh well. Next time. Tuesday will be better. Next Wednesday will be better. I'm turning off 8K recording. This is what happens when you use beta software. The beta features. Okay.
That's not the beta that I'm thinking of, is it? The VHS.
No. Oh my gosh. There was a very interesting video I saw today, and it was talking about Gone in 60 Seconds, the movie, and just how old the car was in relation to when the movie was made. So it was a classic car. Then was it the Shelby or the Mustang that was the famous
the
Mustang that was made in that movie?
Yep.
They were talking what the vehicle would be in the if it was made. Be like a 1984 car would be, instead of a 60s Mustang, it would be a 1984 or a 2000 Viper. Like, they had some comparisons. He's like, you are old. If you didn't know, you were old. Liz says the connection's fine, everything's fine. Good, thank you. Yeah, obviously there's some weird stuff going on my end, so it looks like it's wrong, and then I delay and I assume no one can see, but then it works perfectly. And everything is apparently Melody says everything is glitchy, but I am very glitchy. Thanks, Melody. I think that's what's been affecting the live stream. Those who don't have the patience to wait through the glitchiness, I appreciate the feedback. Yes, definitely an issue tonight, and I'm tempted to shut it down and restart the live stream, but it's going to screw things up in other places. So we'll just keep it going. Eleanor, Melody says that's right. Eleanor was the name of the car. Now, wasn't there a lawsuit about calling a car Eleanor that they own the rights to it? Do you remember the story about this? There's a story. I don't know the story so much as somebody tried to build a Mustang called Eleanor, and the family, the estate, sued and seized the guy's car. I wonder if I can find the story on this real quick, because I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating that somebody can sue you for building a car that is like an off. What's the story regarding the Mustang Eleanor?
That's the same thing when you talk about singing happy birthday.
What's the story with that?
Apparently, it's a copyrighted song, and you can't sing it.
What?
I know. But I bring the whole channel down. I don't want to do that.
Don't sing happy
Happy
birthday. It's going to
birthday.
cost us money. Reproductions. Let's see if I can find any details about this. Okay, solid summary of the story behind the Eleanor Mustang from Gone in 60 Seconds, the legal battles around replicas and reproductions. Okay, the name Eleanor was used for a Ford Mustang in 1974, original Gone in 60 Seconds, a modified 1971 fastback, and again in 2000 in the remake, a customized 1967 Shelby GT500 Mustang fastback. After the remake, the car's cult status led to many companies and individuals building Eleanor look-alike Mustangs. Some builds claimed to be licensed, others not. The key legal battles. The original claim by Denise Halicki, widow of the original film's creator, asserted that Eleanor, in its various film versions, was a protectable character or design that unlicensed replicas infringed her intellectual property rights. Early suits included actions against builders and custom shops that created replicas without her license or permission. 2002 and 2023 showdown and settlement. In December 22, a court ruled in Licensing Inc. The Shelby trust that Eleanor designed under copy. It ruled in favor of. Okay, hang on. Oh. Shelby was saying that they couldn't copyright it as a character. So in 2025, the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit stated that Eleanor is not a copyrightable character. The court applied what is known as a towel test from the Batmobile case and found that Eleanor failed on key prongs. It lacked consistent character traits, conceptual autonomy, or a sufficiently distinctive expression. I mean, it wasn't a human being or a character it was a car. Anyway, apparently now you can build an Eleanor lookalike and these people can go to heck. Or so.
I like that we talked about dash
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was an update. That's actually very current news. We should make a video. Okay, so apparently this. Come again?
We talked about dash cams, and I think that's a great topic. People should get themselves dash cams, and key I think is front and rear. I have on my car, I have front and rear. I have it on the motorcycle, both front and rear. Mm-hmm. Very very easy to get, just a little bit more money for most, but definitely worth it.
But you don't have to find the top of the line best of the best. You just need one. And on Boxing Day, Black Friday, all this stuff, $50-$60 is enough to get something that functions. You can spend $500-$600 to have one that functions really, really well with high quality. Just don't use the quality of my picture tonight because apparently it sucks. But I'm just a little frustrated right now. By the way, you look smashing here. You look good. I look pixelated. Just saying, on the playback, I can see everything that's not working properly. Yes, thanks, Liz. I appreciate it. Liz says I'm freezing, but everything is, as long as you can hear me. I guess it's the most important. But frustrating when things don't work the way you want to. I thought this new function was going to work great. I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to go back to old school recording, where it's all in the cloud. Anyway. I won't get into the nitty gritty, but. I need apparently I need more speed. That's what we need, just not in my car.
So we got some weather coming in the not too distant future, don't we?
Yes, and tires is something we need to talk about. But before I do that, I really need to acknowledge Droner Wayne's comment. It says I need to replace my 1200 baud modem. Funny, I have a 110 baud, I have a 300 baud, I have a 1200 baud, a 24 100 baud, a 56.6, no, a 14.4, a 56.6. What was it? What was the next one after 50? No, I skipped to get to 56.6, and that's probably when we went to it stopped, and we went to cable or something. But I had every modem under the sun, and I used to host a BBS.
Let me know when we get to dad bod.
I'm living it. Joe Sardo has a question. Do you need a license plate on the bumper, or can you have it on the dash? Fantastic question. Much appreciated. I love it when people walk these questions our way, and then we can have fun with them, because that is a regular offense. You get charged. I've charged a gazillion people with that offense. The test, or the requirement under the OREG, the Ontario regulation, says that you must mount it in the rear. It must be illuminated, and in the front, it must be mounted on a conspicuous location in the front of the vehicle. And the front of the vehicle is the front bumper, the front grille. The front has to be horizontal, not vertical. You have to put it as per regulations, which are clearly outlined. So yeah, if you put it on the front dash, that's like 40 to 60% into the middle of the vehicle, and it's obstructed by a windshield and dangerous in the event of a collision. But aside from that, it looks cool for those who can see it.
All I think of is they got into an accident and they can't mount it anymore.
But there's always a way. And tow hook adapters work for me. I think those are perfect. Whether I think they meet the requirements, tow hook adapters, but because there's cars who put them all over the place. So at very least, I don't think you're going to get into trouble, even if it's outside of the lines with a tow hook adapter. However, a zip lock or a zip tie to the grill also works, as long as it's the front of the vehicle and easy to see. Not worth the ticket. I will say that I'm really disappointed in Teslas that brackets that are applied by 2A tape. Like, that's how they put the bracket on the front of the vehicle. And lots of people have come up with really high-end machined aluminum and other contraptions for frame to under the bodywork to mount these plates, because people have acknowledged just how bad it is. So there you go. There's options for everything. Let's see here. Grim says, I got a red light ticket by turning right at the red. I'm guessing because I didn't come to a complete stop. Correct. You are required to come to a complete stop and only make the right turn after making that stop and making sure it's clear to proceed safely. So
that brings up a good point for wintertime driving, is that when you complete that stop, pedestrians have an incredible knack of being blocked by that A-pillar. When you come to that complete stop, and now we add in snow and the size of A-pillars, people don't know what the A-pillar is. That's a front, left, and right. That's your anchor for your roof at the front. They have an incredible knack at disappearing. You stop, they're going to come out of that. You're going to see them and hopefully avoid a lot of financial pain.
Oh, yeah. There's no world where you want to deal with, insurance or not, that you want to deal with having seriously injured someone or taken a life. Aside from financial, which is going to be punitive. And you can get sued up to $2 million in Ontario. Most people don't have insurance to $2 million. Occasionally, people get sued and they lose amounts that are, or have findings over the coverage they have for insurance. So let's say you have $1 million coverage and they award $2 million, unlikely but possible. You are now responsible for the $1 million difference that your insurance won't cover. It's get everyone watching, expand your coverage. Not that I work for insurance companies, I don't, but I've heard horror stories of people who had to pay out of pocket. Grim goes on to say, I didn't do a complete stop. Can I fight it or possibly get it reduced? Can they prove I didn't stop? My brake lights were on an indicator. And then further, that Grim says as well, they didn't have picture of me between lane, just before and after with no car after. The picture shows me stopped in the line before the picture forgot to mention. So it's a photograph, but the computer system is calibrated to determine your speed and be able to say when you crossed the line. And it'll say in seconds how long after it turned red did you enter the intersection, and that's where you're going to get in trouble. So if you, what's this? So yes, they can prove it. That's the short answer. Melody says zip ties solve lots of problems. Melody's a mechanic, and I can only imagine how many zip ties are utilized to keep some vehicles that roll into your shop together. That's scary. I wouldn't suggest that Melody's putting zip ties on, but that possibly other people, make it in with any means necessary. Melody was a first responder at a van versus ped fatality. Right-hand turn at a light. Right turns, big trucks, little right turns, left turns. These turns are where bad stuff happens.
Yep.
Use caution. That's the truth. That's the truth. Droner Wayne says dark clothes can't see pedestrians at night. That's a thing. That is a big thing. People walk with flashlights in their hands. This is where a lightsaber would be a really good life-saving tool. Wow, wow, wow. I saw videos. Somebody made a retractable lightsaber, so that it has like a tape that goes up and it illuminates it actually looks really convincing. Although I just picture it where you tap it the wrong way and like a tape measure, it just folds over and then is no longer cool. Nobody wants a limp lightsaber.
Let's not go there. Let's
Not
go there.
gonna go there. Apparently, yes. Let's see here. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. But let's go back to the other stuff we talked about before I changed the channel and talked about things that popped up. And and Tessa Wolf Girl says, I saw that video about the lightsaber. It looked pretty cool. And Melody says, I use zip ties all the time properly though. I'm glad there's a designation. Joe Sardo wants to know if plow trucks and contractors get tickets for rolling through red lights at night. I've never asked them. I've never, like, if there was a police officer present, why would anyone roll through a light? Like, is it for people? Are they not coming to a stop at lights, the big plows? I can't imagine them going through. But I guess Joe is suggesting that it happens.
If they're going to be doing any work that requires them to have a certain amount of momentum, they're going to have spotters and other company employees with them to help make that happen. Such as if it's a massive snowstorm and they can't see things, such as the white lines, etc. But 99% of the time they're going to come to the stop because it just doesn't help them when people take videos, and you can take videos nowadays and send it right after the company. So it's something to be aware of, that's for sure, because those big heavy plows are going to hurt.
Okay, your audio came back, and so did my keyboard. I was asked about reflective spray for cyclists. Let's see here. I'm going to put this on the screen once I find it. Okay, so I see Amazon's got one. Glow-in-the-dark liquid bike accessories. Timo's got it for $5. Amazon's got similar stuff for $15. Reflect here. Let's go. I'm actually okay. So if you didn't know, I've got actually an Amazon store for better traffic. We have an affiliate link, so you can buy stuff and support the show. But you can go to Amazon and look up reflective gear for cycling. This is probably not the brand that I was talking about originally. Lee's Cycle CNL has something. I've got such terrible connection. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do. I have my suspicion as to what's going on, but nothing's coming up for me. Let me try on the other computer. Stand by. I'm going to try this.
I have seen those products
this would be the test.
myself.
If it works here, it's not my connection. It's the computer. And what do you think?
It seems to be quite a worthwhile product. I guess some of the issues that are going to come back is, are you going to damage the coat that you apply it to? So you're going to want to test it first. So if you are able to get it, just make sure you test it on a part of the clothing and isn't necessarily going to be visible, it won't do any damage. Read the instructions, follow the instructions. The other issue is shipping it across borders. Some of these compressed gases, such as paints, can be shipped across borders. Some cannot be. But there are the coats themselves that go, like shells that can go over things. So
when we were riding motorcycle, we wore and vests on top. Our police motorcycles, we wore vests.
Yep.
Volvo Life Paint. Apparently, Volvo makes it as well. If you search it, there's a number of manufacturers, but I will investigate. If you go to the VoiceOver Cop, and there's links to it at askatrafficcop.ca. I'll create a tab that covers it specifically. Okay.
You bring up a great idea. Is a vest is bigger than your jacket, so you get the size or two larger, and you can go ahead and use it anytime you want.
And some people use what is it called? They use like it's almost like a vest with no vest. It's just straps, Velcro straps that go through. But I've seen that with the bicycle stuff, they spray the bike itself. Everything becomes luminescent.
Yeah, that's quick.
And Joe says, all the time I plow at night and I see city plows and other contractors not willing to wait. Oh, because the light doesn't react, so they just go through it. I mean, if a copper saw them, they'd get a ticket. If the red light camera, however, won't get them if they've come to a complete stop and then proceed through. They would get no ticket from the camera because camera gets. And Liz says, I would probably apply the spray to my black backpack and not my coat. I think that's a good plan. Yeah. Stuff that you're not going to cry about if it's, designer fanciness. We're at an hour and 5 minutes. I think it's time to say goodbye. And I only say that because I'm frustrated with the technology that's not cooperating. I could talk about this. We normally go for 2 hours on a Wednesday night. That said, I am presenting tomorrow at the Ontario Traffic Council, and I should probably sleep so I'm like fresh and rested. And then tomorrow's the Chiefs Gala, and I'm going to that too. So it's going to be a busy day from morning till night. And then
well, thanks for having me.
I wish that the technology cooperated so that it was not distracting. And I'd love to do it again. Maybe we do a redo in a couple of weeks and try it again with technology that doesn't freeze up. If you're willing to try again, it's fun to have you on the show. Awesome.
Oh, great!
Awesome.
It's fun to be here. Good. Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
This is it's talking about stuff we like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the space. It's a safe space to talk about traffic law. Oh, interesting. Melody says that tractors sit too high to activate magnetic traffic controls. Maybe some tractors. I've not seen any issue with that where tractors have had issues, but every jurisdiction has different systems in play. Interesting.
Sometimes motorcycles don't either. That's
the truth. That's always frustrating. Yes. Well, listen, I would play music and that's the outbound music, but I don't need to play that because we know it's the end of the day. It's been a slice. John, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll do it again. And if you're driving, drive safe, drive legal, drive sober. Holidays, lots of holiday stuff to talk about. Maybe do that in the next segment.
Sure.
Impaired operation. You know about that, not from experience of doing the impaired driving, but in investigating the people with because you were a breath tech, were you not?
Yeah.
I was not. Yeah. I never did the breath thing, but we should talk about stuff and things.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, you have a good night. Thank you again. Actually, hang on a second. I'm going to disconnect and go offline and we can chat for a few. But everyone who's watching, go to VoiceOver Cop. Go to AskATrafficCop.com. And that's where you can get links to all the VoiceOver Cop.
And we lost you. Lots of links.
To get our tech support, YouTube tech support. And did you know that YouTube is adding translation, like live translate? No, not live translate. Well, they're going through and doing AI-generated translation. So you'll be able to watch all of these videos in other languages. In fact, Meta's already doing it. If you go on my Instagram page and watch any of the videos I posted, you can like hit a button and listen to me or a version of me through AI speaking in Portuguese, speaking in Spanish, speaking, well, obviously English. And then there's one other language. And maybe it's Hindu. I definitely sound odd in whatever language that is. That I don't know if it's Hindu or something else, but there's definitely some interesting stuff there. I have not had people clipping it and sending it to me because it's funny.